Today our HD PC finds a new home. If you guys remember this board from the last video we did, we pulled this out of the Ophion. Now it's going to find a new home that previously lived in our Nouvolo Steck. Here's the body to that guy. You guys know how much we like small form factor stuff around here. We're going to be taking a look at another one sent over by Nouvolo, the second brother to the Steck, the BORG. We're going to be unboxing it today. Spoiler alert, they look like this. All right, so let's go ahead and cut into the box here. Like I said, we did already put the white one together there, as you saw. We're going to be doing the black one today. This one's probably going to become our new entertainment system. We will be putting in probably a graphics card down in the system here in the future. We just don't have one quite the length to fit this one right now. Go over a few specs before we cut into it here. Obviously, it's a mini ITX board. As far as the GPU, it can support up to double slot. It's 210 millimeters in length. We don't have a card short enough to fit in there right now, so that's going to be an issue. The height clearance of the CPU, since the way this case is laid out, works out pretty well. It's 145 millimeters, so you wouldn't even have to use, like I said, this super kind of low profile cooler in there. We can actually fit a decent sized cooler on there, up to, like I said, 145 millimeters. The chassis itself will support up to 3 2.5 inch hard drives or SATA drives, up to 3 fans technically in the case. It has a rail mounting system we'll go over as we're building, installing the build into it today and unboxing it there. But you can technically put up to 2 120 millimeter fans and a 92 millimeter on the rear, or technically the bottom in this case. And again, we'll go over that more when we get to that point. And it has a nice addressable RGB channel around it, and you'll see that once we finish the build. As well as it, obviously, since it can support at least 2 120 fans, you can put a 120 mil rad in it for your CPU, or even like a 92 millimeter. Like I said, Nouvolo is recommending one from Steck, the 64 SLT. They also do some partners for some custom blocks and stuff like that if you guys want to go into hardline cooling on this. Today, like I said, we'll be putting in the HD PC setup we typically run here. Like I said, in the future, we're going to be upgrading this one too, because we're going to transform it from the kind of just streaming system in the living room to more of a gaming system in the living room, so we'll be able to do a little more with it. So let's go ahead and dive into getting this guy unboxed. But before we hop into today's video, we're going to thank our sponsor XPG and their Prime ARGB extension cables. These ARGB extension cables can be added to any system to spice your RGB lighting up. These are available in the 24-pin and 8-pin connectors for your GPU and 24-pin for your motherboard. Check them out in the link in the description below. All right, now that we got a little closer, let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside the box here. We'll go ahead and get this box open. Definitely some heavy duty tape here. And what we found as we were opening this guy is every piece is pretty well wrapped and sectioned off one another. Like I said, this is the black model here. You can see they're all kind of wrapped, and you have 2 pieces here. These are actually the sides with a little kind of slit of cardboard clicked in between them. So if we unwrap that, you guys can see that here. Let's see, here we have one panel for the door, and then a cardboard separator there. And there's another panel here. I'll just lay these out as we go. We have another little palette of things here. Have more of the doors here with separators. Again, packaged pretty well to be in a box so small. Like I said, these are just use little retention clips, and you'll see more of this as we get going. Here it has a little retention clip there that actually clips the side into place, versus the Steck that actually used magnets instead. So I actually did kind of like this approach. And here we have the top piece. This is actually where the power button that will be coming out of, that cutout here. So that's where that'll be coming up through. And this one actually will clip into the top. And we'll go over that once we get to that part as well. So that's all this to the side for now. In these 2 sleevings, we have the different rails and mounting pieces. So that's actually the structure for the case, as well as some mounting rails for fans. We'll leave those together for now. In the little bag here, we actually have which is the power button. So this is actually going to be what turns on the device, or turns on your motherboard once it's plugged in. So it has a little protruding button there that'll actually stick up throughout the top panel we looked at a second ago. We have some rubber feet here. These go on the bottom of the tray. Let's see, looks like we have some motherboard mounting screws there. They do include a RGB controller for the strip that runs on the base section here. So say if you don't have, if you don't want to run the one on your motherboard, or you don't have a 3-pin addressable header on your motherboard, you can hook this up to SATA. And we actually played around with the controller a pretty good bit. It has a pretty good bit of different options you can go with there. This is looks like the top section of the motherboard mounting tray. So this is actually what will hold the top of the motherboard. Let's set that to the side. Let's see, and this is the power supply mounting tray. That's what that is. It actually comes with look like some adapter brackets here. Because this will actually work with the SFX and SFX-L power supply series. So if you have a longer one, you can adapt it to fit that as well. So you can use either or of that. And these look like some trays for mounting SSDs. So I guess we have more screws here. Looks at various ones to put the case together with. And then at the very bottom, we actually have the base of the unit. So I'll set this box to the side over here. Like I said, this is the base section here. So this is actually where everything is mounting to. So the pillars will stack on top of here to kind of come up. And this is an inverted chassis, so the motherboard actually goes down, graphics card comes out the bottom, and then all your cabling is passed out through the gap here. All right, so let's dive into building this thing, and then we'll see how it looks up all together. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed the little build montage there. That about wraps the build up. Came along better than I expected, honestly. Like I said, with the many parts and pieces that came out of this thing, we did have a little practice putting together the white one first, but it's still a little different to build in versus your normal ATX style case. Like I said, again, this is the one in white here. Keep that where you guys can see it. Currently, Nouvolo is doing these in a matte black, a matte white, and they have like a metallic gray as well. And what's really neat with these, you can actually order different top panels for them. So if you wanted, kind of mix and match and do a different top panel, since they just kind of pop into place, you could, mix match black and white, the metallic, any combination of which. And we'll drop links down in the description below to let you guys know where you can check these out. Another thing is, for as minimal design as these are, like I said, they do still have the RGB strips that run all the way around, which we thought was pretty neat. Like I said, this is going to be the new HD PC setup in the living room. Still fits the entertainment center perfectly. And I get a little bit more flair with it with the RGB strips running along the bottom. So like I said, it comes with a little controller here, so you can change the different lighting effects and everything. So I thought that was pretty neat. But like I said, we can customize that later. As far as building in the case, like I said, we will be adding a discrete GPU to this later on, probably upgrading that 3400G that's in there as well. Mainly just waiting on a slimmer, shorter card to come in, because like we were saying earlier, about 210 millimeters is about all the height will fit, since the card will be mounted vertically, and all your I/O actually comes out of the bottom. So you'll be running the power and everything, your DisplayPort HDMI through the bottom. And it has a little bit of a gap here, so cable management shouldn't be an issue there. The only thing I could see is maybe if you had longer, because this board does have Wi-Fi, if you did have a longer antenna coming out, that might be an issue. You might have to kind of fold them down a bit, but there's plenty of a gap here to pass your cabling through, since Nouvolo kind of likes the minimal style design. From what I've seen, the designer is very minimalist and very OCD, so he likes very squared off things. So with this being a, kind of a cube design, whereas the Steck was more of a rectangle, makes sense. And they don't want to interrupt the design with any type of USB, so you'll have to access that from the bottom. Like I said, I think it's a very clean looking case. We decided to do it just the one fan because the Arctic fans we installed were actually kind of chunky. It was hard to get that second one in there, but you do have room, depending on the shroud of the fan, to mount one on the front here, which we did as an intake, and then you can do one as an exhaust on this side. Of course, your GP will be up against this side here, and then the back side, we just made sure the power supply is facing outwards, obviously, where you can breathe air in from the back side there, because it is kind of this punched metal all the way around, so plenty of airflow coming through here. You might worry about dust a little more since there's no really filters in this case, and you do have room for that 92mm fan mount at the bottom. Here is actually rails there for that, so you could put another fan there if need be as an intake or exhaust, depending on what kind of pressure setup you wanted to go with. But I think that about wraps it up. We covered all the specs and everything of this guy. Like I said, we'll definitely update and come back with you guys once we get a graphics card that's a little bit shorter. Our typical graphics cards won't fit in here; they're a little too tall. And you guys, as you guys know, graphics cards are a pain to find right now on anything, whether it be the newest stuff or even older stuff. Like I said, they're just outrageous. But we do have 2 cases, so we're going to be putting this in the living room because, like I said, it kind of matches the entertainment system or entertainment center a little more, since this will be going underneath it. I already have a black entertainment center, so the white wouldn't really look good. So what we're gonna do is you guys are gonna let me know down in the comments below what we should do with this one. So we could do a crazy build in it, or we could just give it away. So if you guys are in the market for an awesome mini ITX case, you've been looking maybe build one or maybe do something crazier and what we can do with it, drop a comment down below. Like I said, we're definitely considering kind of all options here. Might end up doing a crazy build with it, or we'll just run a giveaway either here or over on Instagram for it. We might throw it in with some hardware, maybe let it go with some RAM. Because we don't have the resources to do a full system build. I wish we did, because I would just do a full system build, then ship the entire thing, but just don't have the resources to do that. But I could combine it with maybe a cool SSD, maybe some, maybe 16, 32 gigs of RAM, if you guys would be interested in that. But yeah, like I said, just drop a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this build here and the montage there. And if you do have any questions about the BORG here, like I said, we'll leave links down in the description to check that out. And of course, feel free to answer or ask any questions in the comments. We'll answer those there as well. And let us know what we should do with that guy, since we have a white one we're not going to keep. Like I said, we're just mainly showing this for the mix and match purposes, since you can mix and match the hardware here. But like I said, let us know what you guys think we should do with it. Like I said, I do appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you haven't followed us over on Instagram, do check us out over there. We post all of our builds over there as well, if you guys want to see some more close-up shots of what's going on with this one. Like I said, we'll definitely revisit this once we get that graphics card in. Like I said, right now we're just waiting on the market to kind of stabilize where we can buy something, because it will support a 2-slot card, but not that tall. You have about 210mm. The CPU height, actually, clearance is pretty good for the coolers on it. Like I said before, up to 145mm, which is pretty solid. Like I said, we kept the Scythe on there since we didn't feel like taking that one off. But if we do end up going with maybe a higher end CPU in here later on, we'll probably throw something on it like maybe the Katana 5 from Scythe, just to keep the Scythe theme going there. But like I said, let us know what we should do with this guy. Drop a comment down below if you want to know more about this guy. And I do appreciate you guys for stopping by. Take it easy.